Salutations, my fellow dudes and dudettes, and welcome back to Tales of Phantasia. Last time, we completed the final side quest in the form of the Colosseum. Got ourselves one of the last techs. Unfortunately, I am missing out on one because going to the Colosseum to do all that again isn't necessary. But we did manage to get Lion's Claws from the Ninja Village. Today, we are finally entering the last point in our adventure, Gauss's Castle. We're finally taking the fight to him, and not gonna lie, this castle doesn't have a lot going for it in terms of puzzles anyway. It's just like the main attraction, I guess you can say, with this dungeon is the fact that this dungeon is incredibly long. That's like that's the best way I can explain it. So we're just gonna go up to the mountain where we first found it, make it appear, and immediately go over there. If you like come up here like at any earlier point and try to do this castle beforehand, you will automatically be teleported there. If there's still something you need to do, you can always just walk backwards and be teleported back. The cutscene will play every time you come here though, so keep that in mind. But anyway, this is it. This is finally it. We are finally we are at the end of the game at this point in time. We are only 3 parts away, including this part, from finally bringing an end to this long Let's Play that's been dragging on for way too long. I apologize. I already explained my reasoning previously, but I cannot express how sorry I am. Anyways, we got a mini boss to start off. I guess they wanted to start off big with this dungeon, but to be honest, this is the only real big thing they got going for it. The Dark Eye. The Dark Eye is capable of 2 things. 1, shooting a laser, and 2, using this really devastating spin attack where he deals a lot of damage. And multiple hits at that. The laser I just mentioned, he is never going to do. I think it's like dark laser or eye laser or something like that. But considering how long it takes for... excuse me. Considering how long it takes for the Dark Eye to actually use that laser, this guy doesn't put up much of a fight. This is what I mean. That stupid rapid spin attack he does that not only does a lot of damage for each hit, but it does a lot of hits. And as you can see, Chester was knocked out. And I'm sure you're wondering, wait, why is Chester in the party? You don't need him there. Yeah, you are actually kind of right about that. I don't know exactly what happened. I don't know why Chester is in the party. He doesn't need to be. I was like, wait, no, what's going on? Because at this point, it's going to be your main team of Kless, Archie, Mint, and Clark, because Chester doesn't offer anything anymore. He was able to, the only use, like, you could really get out of Chester is with that fight with Origin, but that's only because Chester is sort of forced on you, like you don't have a choice but to have him in your team. That's the only reason why. That's the only, like, point you'll get any use out of Chester, otherwise, it's your main team all the way through. Excuse me. Like, the only time you could really use Chester is, like, in the beginning of the game, but that's only because you only have him, Kless, and Mint. Again, this guy is really no trouble. His only means of attack is that laser and that spin attack, and he never got a chance to use that laser. So, the Dark Eye really isn't worth anything. He's got a lot of HP, so that fight is going to take a bit of time, but that's probably the only issue. See, this is where I change him with Archie, because, like, no, this is weird. I can't believe I forgot about that. I don't exactly remember when I switched him in, at the very least. Or is he switched in by default after the Colosseum? I just don't remember. Anyway, we got a holy bottle here, a sage here. Now, I'm not sure if it's possible, but if you guys know, you can tell me in the comments below. Can the Holy Bottle be stacked on top of your already low encounter rate with the Scout Orb? Because at this point, I did set it to low, because I wanted to get a move on with this game. And yeah, I didn't actually try it. I honestly didn't think about it. Because the Scout Orb does its job enough, and I wasn't going to test using Holy Bottle on it, because, to be honest, I didn't think about using it until this video, actually. So, the main gimmick with this puzzle, with this dungeon, is actually going to be a little bit later, near the end of this part, or at least or at the very least, like, in the middle of it. Got a new shield for Kless, the Star Shield. Equip it immediately. I think it's going to be your best shield for the rest of the game. Gonna head up here. Activate the switch. There's a lot of switches to pull to open doors. That's one other thing that Dowse's Castle's got going for it. Is a lot of switch pulling to open doors. And I guess in hindsight, it's not a really particularly good way to stand out with your dungeon, is it? But there are a fair number of enemy encounters that we need to go over. Assuming I do encounter anything. Because, yeah. I also get lost quite a bit in here, trying to figure out as to where to go. So I'm essentially just going to be cutting out a good chunk of me just standing around waiting. It's like, wait, where do I need to go? Because I hate doing that. This dungeon is fairly easy to get lost in, but that's only because all the rooms look the same. We got a new spell for Archie, and it's her last one, the Meteor Storm. It's going to be her most powerful spell, and her most prominent within Dowse's Castle. It's the one she's going to end up using the most. She doesn't really use her death spells very often, just mainly because of how useful the Meteor Storm is. We got a rune bottle there, I guess that's cool. Anyway, we got a new enemy encounter here, the Assassins. They're just like ninjas, only they're more powerful. However, these guys got a little thing added to them. They can actually throw shurikens at you. Like, I didn't expect that. I get into this dungeon, it's like, oh, more ninjas, that's interesting. Oh shit, they're shooting things at me. So, I guess that's one thing that they can stick out with, is that they shoot projectiles, so I guess that's different. I think I showed off Meteor Storm. I wasn't fully paying attention when that battle was happening. Also, at this point, I decided to turn all of Archie's spells back on. I don't remember why they're all off in the first place, but whatever, we're moving on, Oh yeah, you can't enter, yeah, that's another small thing with this dungeon. There are one-way doors, meaning you can go through a door one way, but you can't come out the other way. It's kind of weird. Got some armor and an elixir. The armor's not worth anything because I didn't use a room bottle on it, as you can see. All the equipment we have for the most part is going to be basically what we're going to be sticking with and up until the end of the game. And again, even if there was anything we could equip on Chester, he's never on the team anyway, so. Now, I sort of screwed up here. I forgot we actually fought off against a Seraphim back when we were facing Origin. Oh, but here's the Meteor Storm in case I didn't actually show it off in the Assassins battle. But yeah, I don't feel like I need to talk about those because I'm fairly over-leveled by this point. This dungeon can give you a bit of trouble if you actually decide to come here first before doing all the side questing, and especially the Moria Gallery. Strictly because of how long that is and the level requirement just for you to get through it. So by this point, your character should be within, like, within the 80s, if not, then close to it. It all depends on how many fights you actually engage in the Moria Gallery. Plus the boss fight with the Wyvern itself. Okay, now this is the main, piece of the first part of Dowse's castle. This castle is going to be split up into 3 parts. Notice this little magical incantation circle. We go it, we try to go on it, and all of our party members get sent away. Do you remember that data emblem we had earlier? You need to make sure you have that equipped, otherwise Celeste will get sent away with them. Basically, how it works is that, you're gonna head north of that teleporter, and you're gonna find these rooms with these Hanzo guys in them, which are essentially ninja-based enemies, just a bit stronger. Also, you're by yourself, so you want to be careful. Their main course of attack, though, is backstab, where they essentially teleport and they literally stab you in the back. It's essentially their counterattack, which isn't that bad, but it could be really annoying after a while, considering everything else that these ninja-based enemies can do with their substitution jutsu, their fast speed, the fact that they can throw shuriken. They can be really obnoxious. The other obnoxious thing is that you have to fight 4 of these. Each Hanzo gives you a Datus emblem. We gotta have 5 of these if we insist on continuing with this dungeon. Because the only way to prevent our friends from being teleported on that incantation circle is by having them be equipped with a Datus emblem. I didn't exactly do this during the recording, so I'm just going to let you all in on this now. Once you get past the incantation circle with all your party members with the Datus emblem, immediately switch it back to what you switch the Datus emblem with originally. Ugh, excuse me. The reason why you need those, you need to have all your party members. Oh my goodness. I feel tired for no reason. Also, I'm cutting them all out, all the other ones out, because you didn't need to see the Hanzo fight several times. But we got a new enemy here, and we got 2 new enemies, Destellar and Komodo. The Komodos are the salamander-like enemies, and the Destellar are the archer-like enemies. The only real difference is that they're really strong, and for some reason the Destellar are shooting in the opposite direction from that. That's weird. I don't know why they're doing that. Also, for some reason the Komodos are kind of slow, or at least their reactions are slow. They don't really do anything. I'm sure you were seeing it. They were doing a lot of standing around, so I think they're just stronger versions of like the Drakes, but they're not as threatening because, as you saw, they didn't really attack me much. Maybe they're afraid of me? Who knows? Anyway, as I was saying, the reason why you need all those Datus emblems for your party members was because of the fact that there is a door we're going to come to that can't be opened without the rest of your party members. And that could be a real eyesore, especially if you're not sure as to what to do with this dungeon. Assuming you're not using this video as a guide. I feel like I've been saying that over and over again. Now, what I didn't realize previously is that I wasn't exactly sure how to get to where they were at. I thought that there was another way, and I wouldn't be allowed to. Here's a teleporter. However, apparently, I got lost. You have to use the teleporter. I'm sure most of you would have immediately thought that, but I apparently did not. Disequip your Datus emblem and stand on the portal, and you'll get teleported where your friends were. Where your friends were thrown to. Which are in jail cells, including yourself, but You're a class, you have swords, you can do that. Archie, she can fly, she has a broom. A Z-axis is possible here. I'm not sure if there was a ceiling within those jail cells, but we can't tell. But I don't know. There's a few things I like to question with this game. Like, what was stopping Archie from just floating above the portal? And just like, whatever, preventing you from losing her within trying to cross the portal? Or is it like the area of the portal itself that causes them to teleport? But anyway, we managed to get all of our friends back. I cut when I was looking for Clarth because it took a while to find him. Also, the empty jail cell that was in there, that's where your character would pop up. So, for example, if you equipped the data emblem onto somebody else, then you would have to save Kless with that character. Now, that's a little interesting. I think it's the only possible way you can actually play as a different character besides Kless, because the control of Kless is sort of forced upon you because, well, he's the main character. So if you wanted to actually try using Clarth, Archie, Chester, or Mint, then I guess by all means give it a shot. But anyways, I think we're going to be calling it a part here. We gotten through a good portion of Dallas's castle. We managed to get past that portal with the data emblem. Once again, switch your equipment around. So now we're going to be able to go through the second part of Dallas's castle in the next part. Or at least the second half of it. So until then, I got a juice.